in the bottom left side of Eternal Empire. We're looking at the main base of a man who has left a stunning impression on us so far in this season. It is Astrea.
Not only is he the king, but for the first time in a long time, he feels like he deserves a little bit more credit. It's Neeb.
Honestly, that was probably my little highlight of all the interviews we had so far. Besides the shoutouts to Soul. I mean, I think that's the classic at this point. But yeah, I loved it. You know, I was like, I'm going to ask Neeb this because I wonder what he thinks about it. And he's like, yeah, people make it seem like I'm suddenly not that good anymore. It's like, okay, I didn't win things, but you know, there's a lot of people who wouldn't even put him in the top 5 Protoss of Europe right now. And I'm like, whoa, that goes a little far for me, you know? Like, yeah, Neeb has been a bit shaky, but this is still Neeb, okay? Still one of the very best foreign Starker players we have ever seen. And on any given day, Neeb can turn it up. And I feel like he can even put up one hell of a fight against someone like Special, or Special as well. But even someone like Zero or Rainer. If Neeb is really feeling it, he can push those guys to the limit.
Yeah, I think so as well. He really has to be on top of it. And I mean, if he's feeling confident, if he's feeling like his former self, I have no reason to doubt him. And yeah, I mean, to comment on the Soul thing, I was actually watching the game with a lot of the European pros. I was watching the games on that day. And then when we were watching Cyril's interview, everyone got kind of quiet to hear what Cyril would have to say. And the shout out to Soul, we all just, you know, broke down in laughter. And Soul was like, nice. And then there was a little bit of a silence. And Mini Racer was like, wait, so did you ask him to give you a shout out? And Soul was like, yeah. and then, you know, the shout out to Soul, I think, was just born and instilled onto Rainer. So I hope it continues to be a thing. Because
I think it will be. I mean, we know that the European scene loves their memes. Let's talk about this PvP, cats, as we have a very quick robo going down on the side of Neeb. This is, I don't think, a defensive robo, because if it is a defensive robo, I'd say normally you expand before you drop that robo. So this is most likely, I think, going to be a War Prism, right? And then some 3 gateway aggression, but he's also getting a temporary shield battery, maybe just to keep one unit out. Yes, there it is. So Neeb is going to bring the aggression early on. Is he going to spot that pylon? I think he is. Yeah, okay, that's nice for Neeb. It's the little things that matter in PvP. But Neeb, his probe, did see that pylon of Astrea.
Yeah, do you feel like this is Neeb-like play? Is this him? Is this the first game just testing the waters? I don't know how common aggression is for him here.
Yeah, this actually, okay, he's going to expand as well. This is kind of cool. So it seems like he's just going to use the War Prism for the 2 adepts. Either go for a crazy shade with the adepts, get a couple probe kills, pick it up with a prism, or elevate the adepts into the main base. I don't know if it's a common play, but I think if you want to be a great PvP player, you need to be comfortable in almost every scenario. And Astrea did just scout, by the way, so wait. Why is that Phoenix not moving? Okay. Why is Astrea not confirming that there is a Nexus there?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. That could play against him, but okay, this is not too bad for Astrea. A good start, and I mean the War Prism never comes into play for those.
No, that's a big mistake by Neeb. I think he was a bit distracted by something, or he was being chased. I'm not exactly sure what was happening there, but that's obviously not what you want to do, because Neeb wants to create some chaos here early on. Imagine 2 adepts in the natural, 2 adepts in the main base with a prism. Suddenly 5-6 probes go down very quickly, and that's kind of what you want here if you're Neeb. So he is going to go for the defensive shade. He can obviously pick up these adepts, but one of them is going to get picked off. Only gets 2 probes. Misclicks there as well. Not Neeb his game so far, cats.
Yeah, and we have seen this opening from Astrea before. The 4 sentries. He's always going to be hallucinating, and he's always going to be scouting Neeb over and over. That's what gave him the heads up about the War Prism as well.
Yep, and now he actually saw that there is an expand, and he also knows about Neeb's opening. I think Astrea feels super confident, already sending out a probe. He's going to go up to 3 bases in PvP 5 minutes into the game while having a Stargate. He's going to gun down this prism as well on the top left side. Pretty amazing start for Astrea.
Yeah, one thing that I love about Astrea's play is that he is so confident in his decision making, right? He doesn't shy away from taking seeming risks, going things like 4 sentries, going for this faster base. He's willing to make his opponent make the mistakes into him.
Yep, and by moving out right now, I think he's going to force out a few more units from Neeb as well. Now, Neeb is still on 2 bases, so I don't think Astrea needs to get too carried away here, right? He don't, like, especially without a prism. He does have a pylon on the top left side, or on the top side of the map, rather. But there's no need for Astrea to do anything wild here. It's 3 base against 2. You're investing in things that are not helping you with this push. On top of that, you can't really reinforce, but maybe you can get a quick Nexus cancel. As Astrea, this army, like if I'm Neeb here, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing here with that army? That makes absolutely no sense, but it's gonna pay off.
Yeah, it's gonna pay off. 2 stalkers go out, or down rather, right away. Astrea still looking for the cancel. Maybe a little bit too greedy?
Yeah, I feel like he could have gotten out of there. Uses a Rico in the end. 1 more sentry. Barely survives, actually, in the end. Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, you said you love how confident he is with his decision-making and his move-outs. That is a crazy move-out to me, but it started off all right. I almost wish he would have just dropped force fields and tried to get the cancel on the Nexus, because that Nexus was just warped in. It was super low on HP. Yeah, that's wild, right? Without a prism even to do that? Like, why are you there?
Do you feel like it's the 4 sentries that maybe give him a little bit more confidence to get away after force fielding?
Yeah, possibly, because he's like, well, I know you open up with a robo, so it's incredibly unlikely you already have blink. Like that, you know, that takes a little while before it gets online. So he's just like, I've got sentries. Let's make a little move out. What's the worst thing that could happen? Well, this was probably it, because he did end up losing a couple of units. But more importantly, he's still sitting on an 8-worker advantage and already spending a lot of his money on infrastructure. That's going to come into play later in this game. Opens up with Turbulence, but also a Colossus. Yeah, okay. Oh, man, I'm already feeling
Disruptor,
this.
yeah.
This is going to be such a fun grand final, Scats. I can't wait to see how all of this plays out.
Indeed. And what is this about then, Roddy? What does this tell you? Does he just want to make 1 Disruptor and then Colossi?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Like, Disruptors build really quickly, and they obviously help you keeping safe. Nobody can ever go for a crazy blink on top of your army if you've got a Disruptor there, because if you offensively blink, you obviously can't really avoid that Purification Nova anymore. So yeah, I think it's safety play for now. Do we have a prism? No, there's no prism. Yeah, pure safety, I guess.
Okay, I guess in the best universe, it would also force a Phoenix reaction or something of the likes, right? But I don't think Neeb is too equipped to go into that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you would really build a Stargate when you see your opponent has 1 Disruptor. But I think if Neeb scouts the main base soon and he's like, double Robo, and then you see a Disruptor, yeah, that could definitely prompt out a Stargate. But for now, Neeb is just going to match the double Robo. Obviously, Neeb has been outmined in this game. But PvP, I think it's very doable to make comebacks, especially with these armies. The Zealot Archon, low eco, it's a little bit harder, right? Because the guy with more Archons just wins. But when the game goes into this stage, I think it's pretty doable to make comebacks, and it's actually kind of evening up already.
Yeah, a lot of these units have so many gadgets to try and capitalize on situations. Blink is one of those tools. The Immortal here is gonna be big, but it gets sniped right away by Neeb. This is what I'm talking about. Such confidence. That's the veteran play of saying you have an Immortal. What, I can snipe it right away. Wow!
Okay, right. Disruptor shows up, and now it's bad that Disruptor shows up, because Neeb can blink forward 1 more time. I think there's no reason not to do it. That's what he does. Gets the Disruptor as well. There's a random Colossus, but I wouldn't even be... Okay, now more start to show up. Neeb, maybe it's time to go home. Be happy with what you got so far. The sentry is obviously going to go down, but that's just kind of part of the trade.
Yeah, I think that was amazing by Neeb to jump in on that opportunity before the Colossus showed up. He took a very good engagement to begin things, but now Astrea back on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of wild, right? Because Astrea is the one who was expanding quicker, economically ahead. He keeps making move outs, and at this point, Neeb is like, enough! Just blinks forward there, gets on top of the Immortal. And we also see Shadow Stride being researched. Spear Dragon is out there getting really excited right now. He's like, yes, Alex, but at the same time, I'm sure he loves Neeb too, because it's NA StarCraft. Yeah, this is gonna get crazy.
Yeah, I feel the energy of Fear Dragon right now with Neeb, Astrea, and we're going into Disruptors and Blink DTs. This is gonna get pretty wild. Neeb, though, getting a huge catch. Waits for the blink. He can blink forward, but ooh.
Wait, how did he blink twice so fast?
Did he?
Yeah, I thought he blinked forward and he blinked again. Has to be careful. More disruptors coming forward as well. Astrea's army is a bit stronger, especially with the Prism there, but since he's also investing in things like War Prism speed and he has 85 probes, I actually would like to see Astrea really get like a proper army right now, because his army is kind of made out of paper at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's making more disruptors to that same point. So the backbone is not really there, especially when he got thermal lance. Do you feel like he should add some more Colossus at least?
Yeah, I think maybe 1 or 2 Colossus isn't bad. I definitely think an Immortal or 2 isn't bad either. But maybe at this point it's all about mobility. And Stalkers and Disruptors, obviously they synchronize really well together. One is fast, the other is a zoning unit. Now, this is where the game is going to get chaotic, because Neeb is Dark Templars are on the other side of the map, but DTs are expensive units as well. Neeb is not really capable of fighting this army, I think, at this point, of Astrea. You also don't want to let Astrea walk into your natural. Let's see what the Dark Templars can get done at the bottom. First pylon goes down, but battery overcharge is really good. I love that as well, blinking away from the cannons. Why the hell not?
Yeah, that was really well done by Neeb, but amazing job by Astrea already being ready for a lot of ram buys. I mean, it's not the prettiest Sim City, but having the presence of mind to have...
Yep, main army of Astrea went a little too far forward. A couple Stalkers went down. Colossus really low in HP as well. At the same time, a massive Zealot attack at 12 o'clock. But that's not going to get much done against cannons, batteries, defensive DTs as well. Astrea just needs to take a moment for himself and be like, all right, Dark Templar is going crazy everywhere. I'm moving probes. He is ready for a couple of my moves. Let's just slow this game down and let's actually get a proper army.
I think you're absolutely right. This is a time to recompose. If you are Astrea, you have the economic lead. You have a strong army. Let's just make sure everything is ticked. The right boxes are checked. And then move into try to do something else. Wheezy Blink DP is going to be his answer as well.
Astrea's army movement is insane, isn't it? Like, he's just like... he's in the center of the map right now with like 7 Stalkers and 1 Colossus. Meanwhile, Neeb is on the other side of the map. He's going to try to get fancy and try to get into the natural. There's a lot of Zealots here. Zealots can be kind of problematic to deal with. But then again, if you hit 1 Purification Nova, you can take care of them as well. Look at the mini-map. Look at where the army units are. This is so crazy. What? Oh, Disruptors! Oh my!
No! Well, there goes whatever lead he had. That's for sure.
Oh, Neeb recalls the Disruptors as well. Blinks on top of that ramp. Gets a couple Stalkers. Gets the Colossus. Neeb is playing so freaking good. Does end up losing a couple of Stalkers in the end, but... wow, he just completely reset the Disruptor count. 8 Disruptors have gone down on the side of Astrea, only 2 for Neeb.
Yeah, and this is shades of King Neeb, right? The unbeatable Neeb. Just brilliant maneuvers all around the map right now, making his presence known. And I mean, I think he's taking control of this game now, though it's still an explosive one.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, 1 Purification Nova and everything is different. Astrea does have +3 already, a little bit quicker than Neeb does. Once again, Purification Novas go forward. No! Neeb his own Disruptor shot. What the hell? We're watching at the same time. He lands more big Disruptor shots. Cats, what is this game?
I'm not sure, but Astrea has run out of Disruptors, at least on site, seemingly. Was that a flanking Disruptor? No, that was Neeb's Disruptor in the very back.
Mate, Neeb blinked forward into his own Purification Nova.
Yeah, yet still he takes a favorable engagement overall, or I mean, the
yeah, I think so, because he once again killed more Disruptors, right? I think he took down 5 more Disruptors there, and he still hasn't lost any. Neeb lost 2 Disruptors, and he killed 13. That's insane.
Oh my god, that's so many DTs being warped in right now on the side of Neeb. They could really cause a lot of trouble. That many DTs you have to respect, because they may not be super difficult to fight with, but they will do damage fast. They will snipe things fast. All right, there's an observer in position.
Yeah, but they're kind of trying to blink by. They're blinking all over the place. A couple of DTs might make it into the main base. Don't forget about the main armies. Both of them paying attention to it as well. Neeb firing forward 1 more shot. Oh, that's a juicy hit on the side of Astrea. Finally, Neeb ends up losing a couple of Disruptors. It is so hard to attack into Disruptors. This is an amazing game 1. That's what it is.
All right, so the counter DT is now warped in for Astrea in huge numbers, looking for a similar attack, and it's the Zealots that are going to shepherd Neeb's army back and buy the space for those DTs to move on forward as well.
Yep, Astrea has an observer here as well. This is ridiculous. Dark Templars with Blink on both sides. Army's getting close again on the right side. Is Astrea paying attention? The answer is yes. He's focused firing disruptors. He's getting 3 of them, and he blinks on top of the rest, but now finally one shot. That was amazing for Astrea. That's pure Stalkers for like 5 disruptors of Neeb again.
Yeah, that was very impressive by Astrea. I love how stealthy he was, not really shooting until he was ready to one-shot one of them, and then revealing Neeb a little bit slow to the party. But yeah, I don't know what this game is. There's the DTs coming.
Oh my god, the Blink DTs around on top of other DTs while Disruptors and Stalkers are fighting in the bottom right side. Neeb is getting the better end of these exchanges for sure. There are more Disruptors on the right side. Revelation being casted as well. Wow, what a game.
It is insane. And when all is said and done, the supplies are exactly even, Kev. Wow.
Yeah, and 88 against 81 workers as well. So this game is like not even really close to ending. I also love how Neeb is like 17 minutes into this game. He's like, I should get charged.
We have Astrea finally, Kev, with some upgrades for the air weapons. What do you make of that?
Getting ready. I mean, Skytoss is actually very powerful in this matchup. It's just that it's really hard to get up to like multiple carriers. But if your opponent has a pure ground army and you have carrier disruptor, you're going to win. Because you can beat carriers if you blink under them or let Artom's A move. But if you have to run away from Purification Novas all the time... Oh, whoa, that's a good shot. He fired first, no? Maybe not.
No,
he did.
Maybe not. So difficult to say, and Astrea is in such a difficult position as well because he wants to go for that transition eventually. He's investing into upgrades that Neeb isn't, and that, I mean, that also, does that put Neeb on a ticking clock to some degree?
I don't know if there's any clock in this game, mate. Like these guys are gonna fire Purification Novas forward. We've got Stalkers harassing on the high ground right now. Blink Stalker numbers are high. First carriers in production. Wow, that's a good pylon to unpower as well. All the batteries go down. Yeah, this is a scary phase because carriers are great, but they take a long time to build.
Yeah, and with this many Stalkers, they will be easily one-shot. So if you only have a couple, they're relatively easy to remove. Astrea is gonna be looking for a larger mass of carriers, I imagine. Kev, when do you feel comfortable with that army?
Well, there's another Dark Templar fight on the left center side, by the way. Both of them having DTs and observers. Neeb winning that skirmish. Yeah, it's insane. I love how they're both having an observer with the DT. That's a really good play. No, when I feel comfortable, if you give me 4 carriers and then a couple of disruptors, I'm starting to feel really comfortable, especially if I have a couple of Stalkers in the mix as well. So I think 4 carriers is where they will have a serious impact. 2 carriers, not so much. 4 is proper. And if you can get 6, I don't see how you lose a fight. But you can obviously lose a base trade, right? Because carriers are slow.
That is a good point. Oh, right, no! Okay, well, this was really good for Astrea. Really quick, 3 more Stalkers. I mean, those are all amazing disruptor shots. And it's exactly what Astrea needs to continue to buy time. I really feel like Neeb needs to do something before these carriers start being a problem.
Yep, and I don't think he's aware of it at all, right? If you take a look at the vision of Neeb, Neeb has not been in the main base since, I don't know, like a hallucinated Phoenix Scout or the War Prism arrest early on. No idea about the Fleet Beacon. No idea about the carriers that are on the way. Oh no! What? Well, how many times does that go? I almost just knocked over my battle cruiser. Are you kidding me? I would have been so sad. I'm gonna put it on the ground. I can't take it.
Yeah, this is a little bit too much for me to handle as well. The disruptor shots are just going all over the place, so difficult. And this is a lot of DTs, more than I have ever seen together, to be honest. This is a herd that I haven't had the pleasure of ever meeting.
But there's no observer this time.
Oh. Yeah, there is.
Behind. But all right, Astrea is going to win this fight. As Disruptors fighting again on the right side. Astrea got another big shot. 4 Disruptors went down on the side of Neeb. They have lost 20 and 24 Disruptors in this game.
The presence of mind, Kevin, to have those units ready and then to say, okay, I got enough here. I'm going to go and do the Disruptor shots. I mean, I wasn't looking at the Disruptors and Neeb wasn't either. Astrea has played an amazing game so far.
Yes, and he's transitioning. The thing is, though, can he fight? If I'm Neeb, I'm not fighting that army. When I see the carriers, oh my, what is that blink? That's such a crazy blink. But it's kind of working up. He's resetting the disruptor count again. His own disruptors show up. Neeb blinks into them and will pick off a couple of them. But this is when the Big Daddy carriers show up. And if I was Neeb right now, I'd be like, oh my god, you've got carrier?
Yeah, and those are bad trades, but they also open up the production tab because otherwise he was maxed. So Max was maxed. That's, you know...
DTs, by the way. Sorry. Yeah, DTs in the main base, and this is actually a pretty good play by Neeb. Unpowering the Stargates, so buying some time for himself as well, pulling the army back, and this is going to give Neeb the time that he wants. Well, the armies are clashing again on the right side. This is an insane PvP. I love it.
Yeah, I love that that defensive disruptor shot as well from Astrea. Neeb was trying to do exactly what he's doing now. Jump into the carriers. There's no more disruptors available, and this is what we were talking about when the carriers are low in numbers. But Astrea also punches back.
How was he sure he was gonna get that last disruptor? He just hold his ground there, stood it, got it done. Amazing. Amazing move by Neeb. He just completely reset the carrier count. He picked off 3 carriers near static defenses while there were disruptors as well. Those are not things that are supposed to happen. Astrea still maxed out though. Building more carriers. Now Neeb is like, oh cool, we're gonna play Skytoss. He's like, I haven't done that in a while. I want to do that too. So he's getting his own fleet beacon and Stargates.
Is he aware of how far behind he's lagging in upgrades? Do you agree with his choice, or is it just the only choice type thing?
Oh, well, let's take a look at this fight first. That's a big hit by Neeb as he gets multiple Stalkers. I think if you go Tempest, it's fine. Who cares about the upgrades? Because one thing that is very good against carriers is Tempest. And if you have Disruptors as well, then you can also protect your Tempest.
Definitely. I love how aggressive Neeb is getting in the face of these carriers. I mean, if you can keep the count low, you also don't have to worry nearly as much about them.
I wonder what Neeb is going to build. If he builds carriers, I'm with you. Upgrades are very, very problematic for Neeb. If he builds Tempest, who cares? They always do a lot of damage.
All right. I love the setup as well with the traps. Astrea is going to struggle. Oh, this could... Oh, okay.
Yeah, where did they...
I mean, Astrea's hoping they walk into those.
I don't even know what I'm watching. This is one of the most ridiculous games I've seen in a long time. Forward flank means Neeb will once again end up losing a whole bunch of Stalkers. The army supply is becoming problematic. Big hit on the left side though, as it blows up 7 Stalkers. Carriers show up, but they're a bit confused. And like, shall we go for it? Is the coast clear or?
It's so difficult, but Neeb can retreat onto the stasis traps. Astrea activating them diligently with just 1 unit each, but it's gonna cover Neeb on the retreat at least.
Yeah, Neeb is also walking around with 2 armies at this point, as he has all these Stalkers at the bottom left side. A couple of Zealots are gonna try to save the day. Forward blink of Stalkers, forward blink of DTs. Neeb realizing he's gonna have to retreat. I like where this is going for Neeb. Cats, I dare to say, game of the season so far?
Maybe so, Kev. They're really looking to upstage the beauty that was EU somehow. But NA Madness, it hasn't disappointed, not between these two lately.
Big fight happening as well on the right side. While this fight is going on, the disruptor shots were going forward. Another big one. -3 disruptors on the side of Neeb. Neeb's got a lot of minerals, but he's got no gas. And this is actually starting to become a little problematic. While he had a rich Vespian gas that he mined out, he's got another one that's running, but he's still low on gas at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm watching a PvP or a ZVC. Both of these armies are always, or both of these players always have armies on each other's side of the map. They're always looking for those opportunities, those run-bys. I mean, we're really watching Evolution of Play live, I feel like.
I'm not sure if we're watching the Evolution play or a massive downgrade, but it's no, it's honestly really high level. It's super hectic. I don't know what this game is. What's the Tempest count now? Okay, we've got 3, and Neeb is also saving a couple of Disruptors. You know, are they gonna mine? Actually, every base is taken at this point on Eternal Empire in a PvP. And I love that Neeb has the base that I feel Astrea should have, but then Astrea has the base that Neeb should have, right? Under the natural of Neeb.
Yeah, absolutely right. There is Tempest like you were foreshadowing in production now, so things might be a little bit better for Astrea once those join the fray, but for now, 4 carriers, very threatening.
Yep, the carriers are very scary here, but Neeb is bringing over the Tempest, and then I don't know, it all comes down to the focus fire. I think that Neeb needs a few more. I think you definitely want to get up to like 6, 7 Tempests, which is where he's getting. Big run by the way, happening in the natural of Neeb. A lot of Zealots, couple of Dark Templars in the mix as well. Blink on top of the battery. And this is something you have to respect. And Neeb is maxed out. Protoss problems, we can't warp in. How do you deal with a run by?
It's gonna be so very difficult. A recall is gonna be the answer. And I'm not even sure if he has enough on that recall. This is a huge force on the side of Astrea, but unluckily for Neeb somewhat, it is fighting in a choke.
Well, this is a really weird fight. Now, Astrea is obviously seeing an opportunity on the left side, thinking that it's like, maybe I can fight this army. I would love to see battery overcharge being used there for Neeb. There are still units in Neeb's main base. As Neeb has given up, he's like, I want to win the main fight. I don't even care about my main. Disruptive shots being fired forward once again. I think Neeb has a lot of money. Losing a couple of things in the main is not that bad. He has finally cleaned it up. What's the Tempest count? 7 against 6 carriers? I think I like it for Neeb. I hate Tempest, but I think I like Tempest more than I like carriers in these scenarios.
All right. Also, an Oracle, important to note, is making its way across the map somewhere, and that's going to provide the Tempest with the vision that they need to really start sieging this army of Astrea. Has 22 probes full, but not without taxing.
Yeah, Neeb, okay, all the cannons are on power. I think a big problem for Neeb is that he's got no disruptors left. He has 2 of them. That's not that many. Wait, what happened to Astrea? He had a whole bunch of them. He just lost them.
Yeah, I think a couple exploded there, but there must have been a trickle of explosions through and through, but he is remaking 2 of them, at least.
Yeah, like Tempests are great against carriers, but you do need something to keep your opponent's units at bay. Otherwise, Astrea will just dive on top of the army, and then obviously you can protect your Tempests, and the DPS of Tempests in a straight-up fight is terrible. Oh. Tempests are the king of the running fight. Big stasis goes down, and all these Zealots get trapped. At the same time, Astrea is going to take out the base with the rich Vespian gas. Very important, because Neeb is severely lacking gas at this point.
Yeah, this is getting weird. Both players have surprised each other on opposite ends of the map. Neeb doesn't even have a recall available, I don't believe, so I think he maybe has to commit to this side, and like I said, the game's gonna start getting a little bit strange.
I think it's been a bit strange for the last 21 minutes. Well, yeah, I think if I'm Astrea, I actually want to get that army home, mate. I think I recall my carriers now, and I get the hell out of there.
Definitely. I think as soon as Neeb didn't push into your own base with the rich Vespin Geyser, you have to evacuate. You already took 2 base worth of advantage. Maybe even the second one was a little bit pushing it. Now the army is trapped. Does Neeb have enough? He seems to think he does.
Yep. If I'm Astrea, I recall. Yep. That's nice. What he does. He's probably losing 1 more carry. No, it survives. All the Stalkers are left behind, though. Can the Stalkers get sandwiched? Neeb has an insane amount of minerals. Warp in Zealots wherever you want, Neeb. And try to maybe pick loose off all these Stalkers. He's going to try to re-expand at the base with the rich Vespian gas. Because at this point, Neeb has 0, literally 0 gas income. And he's got only 47 gas in the bank.
Yeah, and I love that Astrea led the army of Neeb within Neeb's territory, because the last thing he wants is a counterattack right now. He knows he has the economical lead. If he can just withhold here and maybe keep small squads, keeping Neeb honest just like this one, I think the game is his to lose now. Yep,
that's super cool, but can he win the fight? I mean, he doesn't have disruptors. He plays forward in the Tempest, which is very risky because Neeb does have still 5 disruptors. The Zealot counterattack is indeed brilliant. Oh, Neeb really wants to fight. He doesn't feel comfortable at this point. He knows he's got no gas income. Obviously, Astrea is starting to run low on resources as well. What an absolutely amazing game of StarCraft 2.
Incredible. I mean, so methodical. Neeb really prioritizing taking down that gas, but aside from the gas, he's not too worried about the rest of it. He just wants to fight the army, right? So denying the gas, that's the key component, but otherwise, he's looking to trade with his disruptor shots. A little bit of an aggressive stance here from Astrea, but will he be able to punish Neeb's punish?
I don't know. I think what Astrea is doing really good is that he's reducing the Tempest count. We had 7 Tempests, now we've got 4 Tempests. So it's okay to lose a couple Stalkers if you're Astrea, because if the Tempests go down, the carrier disruptor combination that he's sitting on is invincible. And 4 Tempests, I don't really know if that's enough anymore for Neeb.
Yeah, and like you said, the gas, it's just not there. So he can't really remake any of these important units that he loses, Neeb, that is.
Nope. Neeb making sure that he doesn't lose any disruptors now because he cannot rebuild them, like you just said. Oh, but if this base goes up and running, there is some hope again for Neeb. I think that if I'm Astrea, I do whatever I can to pick off one more Tempest. Just getting like rid of one more, then I actually think we can just take the fight, man. So, but look at the carriers, by the way. They did go through something, cats. They have been beat up.
They sure have. I do love the move that Neeb is going for. I mean, making a lot of shield batteries here and staging kind of his push from here. Wow, that's a lot of zealots. How much zealots is that?
Wow, the mother of all zealot counterattacks, I think it's like 34 zealots pretty much. I don't know if I'm Astrea, I want to fight here. That's a lot of shield batteries. Yeah. He can't really blink. He wants to get a Tempest, but I don't think he's going to get it.
Yeah, now Neeb is establishing that gas and a sieging position for the rest of the mining bases of Astrea. I think Astrea wants to maybe at this point move towards the other side of the map and expand maybe to Neeb's Grid Vesting Geyser back.
Braveheart! Braveheart! This is so sick. 38 against 30 zealots, 31 minutes into a game of StarCraft 2. Neeb is winning. Astrea's retreating. Who wants another season of Game of Thrones when we've got the epic clash of zealots over here?
Yeah, but now Neeb has too many for Astrea to trade efficiently against. A Disruptor shot here would be the MVP. But Astrea manages to retreat onto the cannons and a sneaky DT. Oh! That's big.
That is big. Sorry, mate. I'm obsessed with this zealot fight that's happening on the other side of the map. It's the most ridiculous thing I've seen in a while. Dark Templars are here, but it's not enough. Neeb's got so many zealots. The carriers will get recalled to save this base for Astrea. And this is truly still anybody's game at this point.
Yeah, Neeb has done an amazing job of restabilizing by taking this base. I mean, he is a brilliant strategist, and it's on full display.
Oh, that could be so big. Oh, no! Gets 3 disruptors. That's massive. Now Neeb takes a tiny army supply advantage. That one Oracle, absolute MVP, providing Neeb with the vision. Vision is everything in these moments.
Yeah, and I mean, for the first time in a while, Astrea is also really hurting for cash. He's hurting for gas. All of these units are incredibly valuable. We have a neck-to-neck game here.
I don't even want to see Saro against Maru anymore. I want Neeb against Astrea again and again.
Oh my god. Resources lost tab, Kev? It's exactly what you would expect it to be.
300 or 600 resources difference. That's a couple zealots. It's pretty much dead even now in a 33-minute PvP. You cannot make this up. What a ridiculous game.
Yeah, now it's Astrea getting adventures and clearing that side of the map for Neeb. So I think we're gonna have both armies kind of reallocating, like they're just gonna switch sides, right? As far as like where they try to situate their economy. This particular move, I want to say, favors Astrea a little bit in the sense that the top hand side of the map has been mined a little bit less.
And this is actually an important base to take out as well, because this is where the Stargates are, this is where the Fleet Beacon are. And don't forget, the Tempest count is somewhat low. But Neeb is looking for another big disruptor shot. Fires one forward. This one does not connect. Stargates are still alive, but the Fleet Beacon went down.
Yeah, what a confident move once again from Astrea, venturing very deep into his opponent's side of the map. And against Neeb, of all people, I like his position again now.
You know what makes me so sad? Is that we're going to have to cast another game of StarCraft 2 that just starts off with build orders, and we have to talk about one Stalker going down. I want this all day. Like, oh, what a game. There's a lot of observers here. Once again, Vision super important. Revelation gets thrown down. Dark Templar gets picked up as well, but somehow, okay. A 3 disruptor Stalkers. Will they blink forward? The answer is no.
Yeah, some ambitions blink earlier, but now they're looking for a Tempest. They're not gonna find it, and it's really these Tempests that are forcing the pace, right? How do you dislodge them here, Kev? Do you know?
You outmaneuver them and wait until they're vulnerable, or you can feel confident. You can somehow get your carriers on top of his army, but that's not the way. Astrea Neeb, with an absolute masterclass of late game PvP here, has now taken a 40 army supply advantage, and I feel Astrea, you need to make something happen because these Tempests are picking you apart.
That is the story of this later half of the game. Astrea does have a little bit better economy and income, I think, than Neeb, as he is mining off of 2 bases. So time is sort of on his side and against him at the same time, because it's those Tempests that are taxing him so much.
I mean, it's the vision, right? The revelations, the observers of Neeb. I mean, vision blinks forward now. Neeb confident gets two disruptors, fires his own disruptors. Somehow doesn't connect with anything, but a few more zealots will go down in the end. The carriers are sitting ducks. Another carrier goes down. Look at these Tempests putting in work.
Yeah, now it's Neeb confidently advancing as this carrier numbers diminish, and he still has a lot of disruptors. Astrea's gonna need a miraculous disruptor shot to reset things here. Otherwise, I feel like it's Neeb that continues to push on fourth, Kev.
Yep, these carriers may as well just leave at this point because they're just eating shots. They're not participating in the battle. Forward blink by Astrea. A lot of stalkers, and I think we're getting close to the beginning of the end here. What an absolute display of pure skill by Neeb in this game. Amazing.
Yeah, but by both players. I mean, Neeb is inching out of this game, but it looks like it's his to lose at this point. What an amazing display indeed. One of maybe the game of the season, I think, fair to say, Kevin. And wow, I mean, this is the last-ditch effort for Astrea. But
a couple zealots and a couple stalkers is just not going to be enough. The carriers are like, we're done. A couple of disruptors are left behind. They won't participate in this fight. I mean, one more miraculous hit is not going to change things. At this point, Astrea doesn't really have proper income anymore either. There is no stopping this army of Neeb, or is there? Another forward blink. Disruptors go down. GG gets called, and Neeb wins. Cats, game of the season, game of the year. Get out of here. This was the greatest thing ever.
Just give them both a point.
Oh, absolutely. We are now actually going to play a best of 12. Where they both get 2 points for this game on Eternal Empire. But Neeb gets extra map vetoes. Unreal.
Yeah, like that. Incredible, really. I would not have minded for that game to end in a draw. I think that's the only way that you upstage that.
How do you follow that up? Wow.
I have no idea.
What a masterclass of army movement, transitions, and late game PvP by Neeb. I am so incredibly impressed. He was not ahead going into the later stages. He didn't create chaos from a comfortable position. No, he was on the back foot in that game. That was amazing. Honestly, absolutely amazing. Damn, Neeb is still so good, cats. The next person that says Neeb is no good anymore gets the smack, okay?
They sure should. I mean, that was so incredible. And now we're heading into a 2-game advantage for Neeb. For Astrea, that has to wear you down too, right? I mean, you left everything in that game.
Yeah. No, how do you continue after a game like that? I mean, you gotta reset, and you gotta worry about all the, I mean, I said it in the previous game, right? Suddenly you have to worry about a single stalker again being out of position. You know, try to make sure that depths don't get into your main base and figure out the tech you're going up against. I think it's really hard to go from a game that's that crazy, that chaotic, back to the very beginning of a game of StarCraft 2, because we know that this is a game of inches. An early game missing a tech building could be the end. We can also get something like we saw in the previous game, but man, I don't care what happens in these upcoming games. This was already an amazing grand final. I'm done.
Yes, indeed. And the next map, I mean, it has the potential to get even crazier if that's a thing that's possible.
No.
At least at least maybe in terms of strategy to open things up and of trickery, as it is gonna be Golden Wall for an amazing PvP. Will Neeb cement a 3-0, or will Astrea pull it a little bit back?
I don't know. Let's hope he brings it back, cats.
I hope so. Yeah, I really hope so. That would be nice.
Man, I'm in awe. Like that was fantastic. That is StarCraft 2. If you want to promote StarCraft 2, that's the game. I mean, I think you kind of need to know StarCraft to appreciate how epic of a game that truly was. That was sick. Grand Finals, North America delivering so far, guys. Let's go ahead and hop into Game 3. As we're looking at Golden Ball, bottom left side. This man also played an absolutely fantastic game. It takes 2 to tango. This is Astrea.
It does take 2 to tango, and this guy is also tangoing pretty hard. It's Neeb. I wanted to say maybe Neeb is dancing salsa or something like that, but no, I think he was dancing tango. I couldn't. Yeah, it was definitely tango that we saw.
I mean, I've seen Alex in the club. You know, I got him out once in Brazil. Saw him have a couple mojitos. He had a good time.
True. As legendary as Big Gabe's dance, perhaps.
No, I mean we got to be realistic with the viewers now. You can't top that.
All right.
I mean, Justin Timberlake actually slid into the DMs of Gabe after that. He's like, still looking for background dancers, Gabe. Gabe's like, sorry, Justin, too busy. Gotta win a couple EVT points. I have to make sure I make the cut to lead senior.
And he surely will do just that. But it's Astrea being cheeky here, Kev. Is the era of proxy robos done? Is it still doable?
I don't know if it's done. I definitely think it's still a powerful build because you always need to figure out that it's happening, and it does require a very serious commitment to defense. But it's maybe not as powerful as it was before. I don't know. Golden Wall is a crazy map. Neeb is also proxying. Neeb might actually proxy something for real. Maybe a Stargate? No, that is a robo. Well, that's a proxy robo.
All right. Technically a proxy robo here. Astrea is actually just looking to hide his pylon, I imagine.
You know, this is actually a bit uncomfortable because if you get like a weird scenario where you did damage but you don't win, but your opponent's like taking the back door and you can't really do much about it, you're like, I want to take the gold. But now Neeb can basically never take his gold because he's never going to be able to mine from the minerals unless he takes it from the other side. Big brain.
In which case he forfeits the gas, but definitely something that he could do. I don't think we're going to see that gold come into play at all, not in the near future at least, but who knows? I mean, last game.
What was your favorite part about last game?
I don't know, Kev. All the swings, all the disruptor shots. It's like a dead even game that had massive amounts of swings all over the place.
I think it was the Braveheart Zealot battle though. Like
That was great.
The 34 Zealot attack met by the 38 defensive Zealots fighting on top of a ramp, just charging forward. Oh my, that was amazing.
And the amount of Blink DTs we saw worked in all at once was a pretty sight to behold as well. I mean, that game was just packed with everything in it.
Yeah. All right. I know we got to move on, guys. We got to talk strategy. So Neeb actually goes for... I guess we kind of have to. In the grand finals, you know, they're playing for $4,000. Wow, that's a great scout for Neeb. Astrea spots the gateway, spots the robo, because Neeb was trying to sell something here that wasn't happening. If they go for the one gate full wall off on top of their main base ramp, then they often actually mine out their backdoor and go for a safe expand. Instead, Neeb was like, I want you to think I'm expanding, but actually I'm the one who's all-inning you. But now Astrea knows, and I think it's going to be hard for Neeb to pull this off. But let's see where he takes it.
Do you think that Neeb went for this knowing that Astrea likes those Nexus first, that he likes those full wall-offs on this map?
Yeah, that could have been a thing. Maybe he expected a one-gate fast expand out of Astrea, or indeed even a Nexus first. I don't think Neeb is going to get a lot of success with this attack. 2 shield batteries are just a little bit too powerful. And the sentries are super good here. Not only for the force fields as one Stalker gets trapped, but the main reason why sentries are super good there is that Immortals have the tendency to always shoot at sentries. And that makes you really sad if you have the Immortal guy, because you're like, no, I can deal 50 damage a shot on Stalkers or 20 on a Sentry, and you're never going to kill Sentries near shield batteries, so Sentries are really good there.
Even another shield battery here on the high ground is just going to shoo away the wow, and the Phoenix. Astrea just so ready.
Yep. I mean, don't want to be anticlimactic, but this looks pretty game over, but Neeb has a backup plan. The backup plan is the Robo Bay. So maybe we're going to get a couple of disruptors, but there's already a Phoenix out. A second Phoenix on the way as well. So how impactful is one disruptor shot really going to be?
Yeah, I love how Astrea is thinking one step ahead, right? Neeb is thinking, okay, I'm not going to be able to break you with this, but at least with disruptors, you'll be pinned back against a wall, and that's difficult to micro with. But Astrea's already got the Phoenix. Is that anticipating the move of Neeb? Oh, wow.
Well, it was also just that early on, I think Phoenixes are very strong defensively. Neeb actually not going for the disruptor, going for the Colossus to break the force field. That's kind of cool. Meanwhile, Astrea's making an Oracle because he's thinking like, I am so far ahead. What can I still lose to? And then you always think DTs if I don't have a Robo. So I think the Oracle is very useful here defensively, not only for Revelation, but maybe a Stasis Prep too.
And there it is. The Observer will see it, however, so Neeb is going to be able to play around it. But yeah, it's this Colossus that I'm interested in. Can Neeb really lean into this attack still? He's too far behind economically, right? He has to make something happen.
Yep, that's too many shield batteries. That's too many. Well, he is too far behind economically to play a normal game. But this attack is also not really going to work. So I'm not exactly sure. He's going to try to make magic happen. Maybe if you break the force fields of Astrea, you have your own perfect force fields. There's like a 1% chance, but then I'm being very generous.
All right. Well, and the Observer will get taken down to make matters worse. So let's see what Neeb can do.
Yeah, that's extra bad because now that stasis is still there. So Neeb basically has to just sacrifice one unit to activate the trap, then break the force fields and land his own force fields. But he's going to be forced to fight into multiple shield batteries. That War Prism takes some shots from these Phoenixes as well. This is a desperate attack if I've ever seen one. Astrea even making... Oh, that's a really cute play. The fake Zealot will activate the stasis trap. And here we go. Force fields of Neeb are going to be impactful. Cats?
Yeah, and I mean, the Phoenixes are being zoned back, and there's not really disruptors for them to pick up. So Neeb kind of doing whatever he can. The force fields are ineffective on the side of Astrea. Now the shield battery overcharge comes. Roddy, does he need to back away?
I don't know if he does. I mean, units are just not going down. Neeb is making the best of this, but he is just lacking DPS. He just doesn't have a very powerful army. He can't kill that many units in range of all the shield batteries. Immortal down, Colossus down. GG gets called, and Astrea gets the first win on the board.
Very nice job by Astrea. That for a second looked like there might be a chance for Neeb though in the engagement, Kev. Do you think, do you fight through the shield battery? Is that through the overcharge?
Just too far behind, like you said before the attack. I think Neeb made the best of it, but Astrea's build order was just better. And on top of that, Astrea scouted everything that he was going up against. This is a completely different game if Astrea does not scout the Proxy Robo and the Proxy Gateway, because then it's a lot harder to make all the calls that Astrea made. But right now, he had all the information. Astrea is a great player. He's going to have perfect defense.
Yeah, and this is a little bit more like what we saw in the previous series with Astrea kind of one-upping Neeb on the strategic front, right? Getting those build order advantages pretty much consistently during that series. The first game was kind of like even, but this one was definitely his. I hope that we can see more of that.
Well, technically, I mean, Eternal Empire was madness, right? But Astrea's build was really good. He had great scouting. He was pretty far ahead in Eternal Empire. He was 5-6 workers ahead. The depths of Neeb and the early Prism, that wasn't really working out. Astrea definitely did not lose game one because of the opening build orders, because he actually had a lead there.
That is a great point to make. And also, I mean, the carriers, they came into play. It seemed like the plan for Astrea was coming all together in that game, Kev, but it just didn't. Like at the end, do you want to take it to another long game against Neeb, or are you looking for...
I mean, I think longer games are not bad, because normally a long Protoss game is like, hey, you've got 10 Archons, I've got 10 Archons, and I've got a bunch of Immortals, and we move into each other, and then somebody squeezes in that double Robo Bay, and that's normally kind of where it ends. You just don't see a lot of games like that of Eternal Empire. So I don't think Astrea needs to be afraid of late game. It's just maybe not that kind of a late game, because that's ultra late game, right? Like all the bases were taken on Eternal Empire. I don't think I've ever seen that in a couple of PvPs with like Gong Fu plays a lot of the super late game. I think DNS and Art had a crazy game in the group stage as well, but it's pretty rare.
All right. Well, what can we expect of Ice and Chrome as Astrea needed just a second to continue to get ready?
Yeah, I can't blame him, mate. Like after that first game, if I was Neeb or Astrea, I'd be like, I need 5 minutes, man. Like that's a game like that takes a lot out of you, because it's not just that you're on edge. It's not just that it's nerve-wracking, disruptors all the time. It was a 34 minute game. How do you continue after that? So makes perfect sense. Ice and Chrome, I don't know, mate. We'll talk about it after we introduce these nerds. But I think in PvP, you never truly know what you're going to get. It's almost like a box of chocolates, cats.
Oh, I love those. The ones that have like a different flavor, it only repeats once each?
No, just a bag of M&Ms where you have different colors.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Not nearly as cool. In the bottom left-hand side, it is all the chocolates in the world. It's Astrea. Oh, wow.
And in the top right side, we're looking at the main base of the man who's still up to 1. The old guard of the North American scene. It is Neeb. What were you wowing about?
I was wowing about the reef for Astrea. The band really brought it here.
Yeah. You want to find some more songs of them?
Yeah, man, that was pretty impressive. All right, so pretty standard stuff. I really want to see Astrea mix it up and not go for the double gate opening one of these games, but I guess that's a lot to wish for in PvP.
Pillars of Gold, I think, is a really good map to do something a bit different. Nexus first, one gate fast expand. It's mostly about the natural, right? On Ice and Chrome, there's no ramp going into the natural. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to be really crazy, you can go Nexus first. And if you're way better than your opponent, you can probably deal with it. But I think it's a lot harder on these maps where there's no ramp.
Cool. So if there is a ramp, you have the opportunity to place your buildings to cover that ramp from the start?
Yeah, that. And of course, if you do get attacked, your opponent doesn't just need to worry about the attack, but they need to worry about high ground vision all the time.
Yeah.
So that means either an extra observer or, you know, bringing the prism a little farther forward. That's why it makes a big difference in attacking in PvP.
Okay. And we have a pylon here positioned just to not get scouted by the looks of it. Is that off the pathing? No, right?
Well, most of the time the probes will go to the middle. If you're Neeb, then your probe will go on the left side of the rocks, not on the right side. So, but yeah, it's just kind of random. It's part of PvP, right? It's the Korean PvP meta where you always proxy your second pylon because you want to give your opponent the idea that there is a chance you're building something there, a robo, a Stargate, an extra gateway. And if you're Neeb, I mean, I think at this point, I don't think he's really expecting it, but you always have to respect the fact that the pylon isn't at home.
Yes, indeed. All right. Neeb has a probe of his own out on the map as well. I'm not sure if he's looking to proxy something other than a pylon, but it's he has 2 probes out there.
Yeah, Neeb is very persistent with his scouting. He wants to make sure that if there is something out there that he's going to find it. I saw a game on Submarine where I think 4.5 minutes into the game, Neeb actually saw each and every single corner of Submarine. No, he's crazy.
That's amazing. All right. Well, Neeb is going to find the pylon finally, so that's a little bit of a freebie. Reveals the 2 stalkers. Is that a big deal at all? Does it matter?
Yeah, it gives you a little heads up if you're Astrea, but what did Astrea see? Yeah, if you're Astrea, you might be a bit worried. Don't forget that last game, Neeb got pretty cheeky, right? With his proxy robo. So if you see 2 stalkers, you lose a pylon. It's not a nice feeling, but I think that Astrea is going to feel okay about it, especially now that his hallucinated Phoenix is going to spot the Stargate.
Okay, and sees the Oracle starting as well if he was paying attention still. So we'll see what that accomplishes. Is that Oracle looking to do damage, Kev? Is it important that you do damage, or is it keeping tabs?
I think the most important thing, if you open an Oracle, is to keep it alive. I think keeping it alive is #1 priority. Because if you have an Oracle out on the map, it's something your opponent always needs to respect, especially because there could be a second Oracle as well. I think, you know, getting a probe or 2 would be nice here for Neeb because he is a little bit behind economically. But as long as that Oracle is alive, you don't want to move out if you're Astrea. Because then if you're in the center of the map, you know, stasis trap can go down. Suddenly you lose all your income. So, you know, just don't be me. Because if I have Oracles, I'm always like, I want to kill probes. And then it goes down. And I'm like, I'm just not an Oracle guy, you know?
And Neeb is going to use that opportunity to drop his Twilight Council as well as a Forge. This Oracle will find a couple of... Oh, just one. Okay.
Yeah, the Adepts are going to make it a couple. But now force fields go down. Oracle comes back again, but good job by Astrea, bringing the probes back to the shield battery range, even activating a battery overcharge as well. I think it's kind of a trade.
Yeah, I mean, just 2 Adepts for 2 probes. I would be pretty happy with that. Of course, there's the overcharge also to account for, but like you were mentioning, Neeb is a little bit behind in terms of income up until this point, though. He has equalized the worker count. Oh!
Yeah, that's kind of a cool move. Astrea gets the Stalker, is going to get the second one as well. The Oracle dives back into the natural. That Phoenix is a bit drunk, I guess, and just flew by the Oracle completely. Yeah, I gotta say, it is kind of weird by Astrea to see the responsive Stargate, because he went Robo before Stargate. And now, is he going to play Phoenix Immortal? I mean, I'm a fan, but...
All right, And yeah, so what do you attribute that to? It's an observer now coming out of the robo. Did he change plans, you think?
Yeah, maybe based upon what he saw, he's like, if I just go Stargate, I'll make sure I have nothing to worry about. I mean, Astrea does have an army supply advantage. Might get a cancel if Neeb is warping in the Nexus immediately. I'm actually not sure. I mean, probably there are some mind games. Astrea said he has a couple of tricks up his sleeve as well. I mean, it's one way to get rid of an Oracle, right? Building a Phoenix.
That is one way indeed, and it might force somewhat of an overreaction, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's good for the War Prisms as well. We saw it to great effect in the last game even. So maybe it's okay.
Astrea is going to get 3 more gateways. Is going to skip Blink this game and go straight into charge. So it seems like could be a timing attack. Do we have a Twilight? Yeah, we obviously. I mean, he's researching charge. I think that Eternal Empire game messed up my brain a little bit.
Yeah, mine too, man. And yeah, charge versus blink. I mean, what do you make of that? Is it always a timing attack? Is it bad if... I mean, do you have to commit to the zealots? We haven't even seen any warped in yet.
It doesn't always have to be. You can also say just skipping blink is going to be good for you in the later, straight up engagement, because stalkers are not that great if the armies get bigger. In a straight up fight, if they just stand there, archons and immortals are a bit more useful. Good job there by Neeb. Obviously, Neeb wants to get some value out of the stalkers he made, right? If you make this many stalkers, you invest into blink, you want to get a little return on your investment.
Definitely, he's doing that by keeping map control as he has the most mobility. And that's often what mobility can do, right? If you have more, then you stay out on the map. If your opponent has more, you run away because you're faster.
Losing that pylon was really painful for Astrea. That was a pretty decent supply block. Is he going to build a war prism now? Because attacking without a prism is always a bit crazy. He does have a pylon in the bottom right side. But Astrea knows that Neeb is already on 3 bases. Neeb is going to blink into the main base. Couple force fields go down. How many stalkers? Okay, 3 stalkers going down immediately. Actually, a really good start here for Astrea. Does need to repower his gateways though.
Yeah, it's going to be super important for his upcoming attack. Also reveals his hand kind of with a lot of showing a lot of zealots and archons. He is making that war prism that you were talking about. So I think the attack is going to start pretty soon here.
Yep. Does Neeb have a Templar Archive? Neeb doesn't have a Templar Archives yet. Uh-oh. No, that could be trouble.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he's not going to have Archons available at all. Is that a huge problem? I mean, it looks like it, right?
It is if you want to build Zealots, but Neeb is almost like, no, I'm taking a note out of Drogo's playbook. I don't need Zealots. I'm going to make a ridiculous amount of Stalkers. And Stalkers are really funny because in small numbers, they're not good. But if you then get way more of them again and you just blink, Stalker, micro all of them, you've got some static defenses as well. Yeah, I have no idea how this plays out, but I think the ball is in Neeb's corner. I think with really good control, Neeb is actually going to be able to hold.
Wow, that's quite amazing. I mean, oh, but this is a little bit dangerous. He does have blink, so he can disengage. But yeah, like you were saying, with this numbers growing, he always has the potential to snipe a unit and try to get out. So you got to look out for those immortals. And I wouldn't be surprised to see disruptors or something else added for Astrea.
This is actually going to get very dicey because now we're going to have 2 immortals and probably a couple of zealots. No, those are archons. Okay, I thought those were immortals.
Look at the warping. It's trapping the stalkers that Neeb just warped in, but with the recall, Neeb is going to have just enough. At the same time, Astrea is going to take advantage of that recall, knowing that all of Neeb's army is not here to engage. And with 2 immortals and an archon, it looks like maybe he could do something, but the shield batteries will hold strong.
Yeah, batteries are too good. Neeb is taking care of the zealots and the archons that were in his main base as well. 5 probes went down. But hey, +2 is done for Neeb already. +2 only just starting for Astrea. Shaping up to be another pretty wild game. But Neeb is getting his 2nd robo now. Already has his 1st disruptor on the way. Yeah, I don't hate this if I'm Neeb. There is normally that one scary push of Zealot, Archon, Immortal that's really difficult to survive. I think Neeb has kind of done that now.
Yeah, I think we just saw that exact push kind of fail for Astrea. I mean, it's not like he's out of this game by any means because Neeb was kind of slow to his tech himself. But like you said, with those disruptors, the potential starts getting there for the Thunderhaft.
And at the same time, Neeb still has the more mobile army. I love the 4 Blink Stalker hit squad. That's, of course, enough to one-shot probes. 5 probes go down very quickly. Even a 6th one gets picked up there as well. Neeb creating a pretty decent economic advantage for himself. And Astrea is getting Blink, but is also getting another War Prism. The War Prism is giving me the idea that he wants to be aggressive, but I think the time for him to be aggressive has kind of passed.
Yeah, at the same time, do you want to scale on this map with an army that... Because there's so many chokes on this map. Everywhere I look, there's chokes, and that's where disruptors are gonna thrive, right? Like, do you need your own AoE, or is he looking to do like multiple prong attacks? What's his game plan here?
Yeah, it could be an insane engagement, right? If you have a lot of zealots flanking the army of Neeb, I think positioning is everything. If you have a couple Phoenix in the mix and you can lift those disruptors, I think I do not think that putting all your eggs in one basket, one big attack right now, is the right idea. On the other hand, I look at that army of Astrea and it's like, well, it's kind of a beefy army at this point, right? Like, it's just, can it get in range? Can it really force the fight? If Astrea can truly force the fight, his army is awesome. But I have the feeling that Neeb is not going to give him a fight. He's going to kite him. He's going to fire Purification Novas forward one at a time. And I don't think you can really push the issue if you're Astrea.
Yeah, Neeb has such good vision out on the map with stalkers just being stationed all over the place. So he will know when Astrea is coming and where he's coming from. A hallucinated Phoenix will even give him a heads up before the stalker does.
Yep. Is this something you'd love to see from Astrea? Like, I kind of like what he's doing now, just sitting back, going up to 4 bases. But what do you think?
I would love to see him kind of maybe split the army in two and try to go at 2 places at once. I am not a PvP player, granted, but it just feels like it's so difficult to go up against that many disruptors in one single front.
Yeah, probably want to get a slightly more army supply in that case, and it seems like that's what Astrea is doing. Obviously, Blink Stalkers are great, but you don't really want to micro Blink Stalkers in 2 fights at the same time, because even Neeb is going to have some issues getting that done. Gotta say though, the amount of map control that Neeb is taking is always nice to see. And already getting an Oracle now as well for vision, so you can start tagging that army. And Neeb is playing a great game, and Astrea is just feeling a bit broke to me. Like 60 probes is just not that many.
Neeb is really taking every advantage that he can from the position that he has put himself in. Astrea having to even back with that War Prism, which with 2 Archons, that could have been nice, but Neeb has pylons everywhere, stalkers everywhere. Now he's gonna go in for a Nexus Knight. This is huge.
Yeah, a lot of these stalkers are probably gonna go down though. I wouldn't mind a recall. That's exactly what Neeb is going for. A couple stalkers go down and a few are left behind. But still a pretty good, decent trade, I'd say. Neeb was already economically ahead, is now much further ahead. And don't forget that he already has +3 as well, which is awesome for the Stalkers. It all comes down to kiting his army. But if Astrea can force the fight, there is hope here for Astrea.
All right, I don't think he has enough Phoenix to lift every one of those disruptors. He has to be so very careful, especially if he loses another one. I think Astrea wants to make something happen in return, but I'm not sure if it's his time. I'm not sure if he's ready for it. We gotta be super careful with those.
No, I'm with you. I think maybe just go back again. Maybe even get a second Stargate. If this is the army comp that you're going with, can we get a couple lifts? The answer is no. Good snipe though on that first Phoenix. Neeb blows up a couple of Zealots there as well. Neeb even counter-attacking with so many Dark Templars. Blinks on top of the cannon. 15 probes go down in the blink of an eye. But hey, now all the Dark Templars are trapped too. That is expensive. But the economy of Astrea is in shambles.
Lightning fast reaction, not fast enough for those DTs. Just so many of them. I mean, a couple of slashes each. And we have 17 probes die.
Yeah, Astrea's economy is truly sad at this point. More Dark Templars running into the rest of the army. There is an Observer. Man, these are expensive pickups though. Jeez, that's like 12 Dark Templars we just saw go down.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Astrea needed. But now the Phoenix are going to be threatened by the Stalkers as the rest of the units provide the shelter for them by zoning out with the Purification. That's a lot of Novas going into a lot of Archons, but Astrea is going to push them forth. There's not any Purification Novas left over here.
No, but there are so many static defenses, and then even the Stalkers become a big problem. Don't forget, these are +3 Stalkers as well. The Disruptors are going to fire again eventually. Phoenixes are waiting for a lift. I think the Observer went down, which means Neeb can just warp in DTs defensively. And isn't that all he needs?
I guess it is. I mean, those shield batteries and cannons really holding strong there. And Neeb is gonna blink in to snipe another Immortal. This is looking pretty difficult if you're Astrea, but he is trying to restabilize economically at least.
Yeah, now actually the army of Neeb is a bit out of position. I mean, this is starting to look better for Astrea than I thought it ever would. But the disruptor count is still so high, and those Novas, they have to connect eventually. Right forward, Blink, Arkham goes down, and Astrea is going to be forced to retreat once again. Another observer gets picked off as well.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Astrea has done a great job of avoiding those Novas for the time being. And it's the Phoenixes that make it a little bit scary for Neeb for sure. Astrea has continued to make Phoenix, but notice he's never over making them. He always wants like I don't know. I would almost wanna see him over make him at this point.
Yeah, he needs something on the ground as well, right? Because otherwise you just don't win the fight. Stalker's in a good spot. Blink -1 Phoenix. Phoenixes are expensive. Whoa, what is that, Neeb? That was a weird purification Nova. It's nice that you cannot kill your own disruptors, right? Like you can kill everything else.
Is it nice? I don't think it's that nice actually.
I think that's fair. we have enough to worry about, Cat.
Maybe.
If you guys just joined us, we're in the middle of the grand finals of the NA regionals for DreamHack Masters Summer. It has been one hell of a grand final so far. The first game, arguably the game of the year. In my opinion, it was game of the year. This game is starting to get a little crazy as well. It's $8,000 for first place, $4,000 for second. But perhaps more importantly, both of these players will be playing in the season finals that will kick off this week. It's going to be awesome. The best of every region will duke it out with each other. Another week of awesome StarCraft 2 content coming your way.
Hells yeah. And you know what else is awesome? Astrea switching it up, Kev. He's going for Colossi. How do you feel about it?
A bit questionable.
All right.
Yeah, no, because the disrupt count is so high, and disruptors are already good against Colossus. And Colossus are not particularly great against Stalkers, but maybe if they're all clumped up. Neeb, meanwhile, is going for the Mama Ship and Tempest. Oh my goodness, like, these boys are just in it. Now, they want to play some late game again. But I have to, like, I like this, don't get me wrong, but I actually felt that Neeb's position was really good at one point. That I think he could have done more with his lead than what he's doing right now. I still really like the game for Neeb, and he has already shown us that he's an absolute master of late game PvP. But if you let Astrea max out, build up a bank, get a lot of tech, I also feel like you give him a real chance to come back into this game.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, he showed how good he can be in the late game, and we haven't seen him really in a game where he's willing to take the bigger risks because all of the games have been so even. And yeah, I wanna see what he does. I mean, the Colossi are not gonna do it though. Tempest is being added now.
Yeah,
that's
I'm with
about
you.
the worst unit. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not really good against anything that Neeb has, and then the counter of the Colossus is there twice. Disruptors and Tempest. But if Astrea can just pick up on what Neeb is doing, to be honest, it's hard to scout because there are a million cannons on the side of Neeb, right? But yeah, if he picks up on it, maybe get your own fleet beacon, get your own Tempest. Anything is possible at that point.
All right. Well, we see a huge clump of Astrea. That is a lot of zealots. This army is deadly, but the problem is the disruptor shots could just as easily wipe it in an instant.
Yep, and zealots are also not very good near static defenses, right? The Battery is going to heal up all the units. Neeb already with his Oracle stacking the army, but Astrea doing the right thing here, realizing like, hey, this army is not going to win me the game. Let's get another Stargate. Let's get a fleet beacon. And this is kind of what I mean. Like, obviously, Neeb is in the driver's seat of this game. Neeb is ahead. Neeb is very safe at home. He's got a lot of static defenses. He is more advanced. But if Astrea just gets time, I mean, anything is possible, man. Tempest fights are super weird because they attack so slow, and it's really important that you shoot at the right units. But you also don't want massive overkill, right? You don't want to shoot with 10 Tempests at one Tempest. So these games just get wild.
Yeah, they sure have the potential to. Now, this DTs of Neeb, I mean, keeping Astrea honest in the economical front, I think that has been the part of Astrea that he has been working on through and through, right? Like one thing that he has done consistently, keep him low there.
Yeah, I mean, Neeb is playing very passive here. He's just that confident in his late game, I guess. At this point, Neeb's army is way better. I think Astrea needs to find a way to slowly but steady get rid of his crappy units. Obviously, not everything at once, right? Because then you're just in risk of dying. But you want to start recycling these units. The Colossus really do feel absolutely useless in a game like this. They haven't done anything useful yet, and I don't think they ever will.
Yeah, that's just the thing. This map is so very choky. I can never envision a fight that goes well for Astrea with this army compositions unless he's kind of making Neeb split his army and fight him at 2 places at once or something of the like. Now he's gonna get pinned back as Neeb threatens in this very important territory where the 5th of Astrea would be.
Yep, and Neeb also distracting Astrea with a lot of Dark Templars in the main base. So Neeb once again displaying great late game PvP. Purification Novas explode in the center of the army of Astrea there. But Neeb also lost quite a few units.
Yeah, a lot of those disruptors actually as well. There are a few remaining. I want to see, it's actually 5 remaining. So as the cooldowns reset, it's still going to be Neeb with those disruptor shorts. There is the potential for Astrea to return fire, but no, it's instead all the disruptors that connect onto the bulk of the army of Astrea. And it looks like we're looking at the end here as Neeb is going to take a 3-game or a 2-game lead at this point.
Yep, Neeb will take the 3-1 lead. We are playing, of course, a best of 7. So we'll talk more about the next match after this quick commercial break.
Three to 1 is the score as Neeb leads us into the 5th game, well, 4th game of the series technically, as he had a 1-0 lead coming from the upper bracket. It is the North American Finals of DreamHack Masters, and what a series we have, Kev.
Yeah, I mean, I really have a hard time to just letting a game go like the one that we have on Eternal Empire. You know, I know it doesn't matter that much. It's just a single game in the grand finals. What matters is the story, the prize money, the prestige, right? But I kind of just like, I don't know, you just want to nerd out and like have a great time talking about a game like that forever, because what an absolutely amazing game that was. But guys, the show must go on. One amazing game will not crown you the champion, but winning this map will, for this man in the top right side, representing Ping, the old guard of the North American scene. It is Neeb.
Streets. And the new guard looking to take control of the streets. It is Astrea.
Now, you were talking to me earlier today about the word on the street. What's the word on the street about the NA scene?
I'm not sure, actually. The word on the street, I think, for the most part, is Astrea and Silky hype. But now it has to be just Astrea, right? At least for today.
Yeah. I mean, Astrea has played a fantastic tournament. Of course, if you can make it into the GSL, which I think is more competitive than it's been in a very long time, because it has 8 players less, right? So you only have to be top 24 there instead of top 32. Makes a very big difference. So we knew this kid was good. He is obviously showcasing how good he really is in this tournament so far, but can we just give Neeb all the credits that he hasn't been receiving over the last few months? People saying he's done, he's out, doesn't really matter anymore, barely top 5 Protoss when it comes to the European Protosses. I am super impressed by the way that Neeb is playing this tournament. He is looking so damn good.
He is looking really, really good, and I really hope he carries that if he is to win into the later stages. Not really stages, but I guess you could call it the world stage.
The season finals.
Yeah, against non-North Americans. Here he's looking to keep his throne though, and I mean Astrea is really the first person that has had anything to say about it in a while.
Yep, Astrea really made Neeb work for it in that upper bracket. Astrea was up 2-0 in the best of 5, was looking great in game 3, then Neeb somehow managed to turn all of that around in this grand finals. It's been awesome, it's been competitive, but it's been the show of Neeb, and Astrea is kind of putting it all on the line here with a 3-gate opening. Now, of course, the games don't have to end here, right? You can obviously transition out of 3-gate openings as well. You can just go for a contain. Let's see if Neeb is able to pick up on the fact that there is a gateway awfully close to his natural.
Yeah, to be honest, Kev, I really like this from Astrea. I think that picking up a cheeky win would be a really good way to reset momentum. And if he's able to do it, I mean, things kind of reset back to square one. There is still a hefty lead in terms of games for Neeb, and it can feel, very difficult to catch up otherwise if you don't get that little trick or something of the sort.
Oh, Neeb, not a Warcraft 3 player. Kind of messed up the block there, but it barely survives. But at the same time, actually, I thought these were adapts from Astrea. I was like, what? How does he have stalkers and adapts? That's crazy. Neeb is expanding, though. And without a pylon and a battery on the low ground, I mean, I think even if your name is Neeb, you are not going to hold that Nexus. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Neeb can just prove me wrong one more time. But I think this actually looks pretty dicey. That stalker count is going to grow real quick. The Robo's only halfway done. I don't see how you defend this Nexus.
Yeah, and Astrea also dropped the Nexus in the side of Neeb. I'm not sure if that does much. This is a really nice adept, as it will force one of those warpins back at home.
Yeah.
Is that enough?
I mean, I wasn't really paying attention. I was so focused on the stalkers on the other side of the map. But yeah, this is an amazing adept. Wow, 5 probes, maybe 6.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, now Astrea really needs to kill that Nexus. If he doesn't kill the Nexus here, then I think this is looking incredibly bad. A 9 worker deficit is a very big deal. That shield battery is buying some time for Neeb. There is an Immortal on the way, but there is a sentry. Look at that little bubbly boy. He is going to try to save the tournament for Neeb, and he drops the force field 3-star to Astrea, excuse me. 2 stalkers of Neeb go down immediately. The third one is going to go down. The adept gets picked up, but Cass, as amazing as this is, Big Daddy Immortal's here now.
It's about to show up, and the probes also being brought for Neeb. He knows how important it is to keep this position alive, and he will. And now Astrea lagging 8 workers behind. 2 more sentries though, Kev. I like this.
Yep, 3 more sentries. So Astrea's really going to go for the kill here. He wants to zone out at Immortal. He wants to bring it forward. He already activated the barrier. Now he goes for the defensive force field. Now zones out the Stalkers. Really good play. But I would say go get the Nexus.
Get it!
You need to get the Nexus. I feel like
he's being a little bit indecisive. Yeah, I think so as well. Now going after the Immortal, but the probes being pulled and the shield battery overcharged. I think this is Neeb holding, Kev.
Yep, now the barrier is up again as well, so that Immortal can take a few more shots. It does get activated immediately. Neeb shouldn't probably get that far forward, but he's got another Immortal.
I think he's done it.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, Immortal does go down. Astrea is probing up though at home. It's 28, but I mean, he's got no army supply left. And he's down intact. This is really bad for Astrea.
Yeah, if that Immortal didn't go down, it was gonna be a world of hurt. But maybe with that Immortal going down, I mean, it's a little bit of a soft reset. And yeah, you mentioned that he managed to equalize somehow the workers.
Yep. I mean, Neeb was taking this very serious, like he should have, because it was a pretty big commitment. But there is still a big advantage on the side of Neeb, because this is 2 gates against 3 gates, but it's a Robo. There's an Immortal out. There's a War Prism out. What is Astrea going to do with this hit spot on the right side? This is crazy. Why is he here? Is he going to right-click?
Protoss run by. I would love that, but instead he's going to go get a probe and try for a sentry, but with the War Prism here, I don't think he's going to be able to do much.
Nope. War Prism has to be very careful. It's already low on HP. It goes down with 1 unit inside of it as well. Okay, he's setting up the 2 adepts. This is a great play. Astrea is pulling the unit out of position. These adepts, can they get something done? The answer is at least a little bit. I think probably 3 or 4 probes.
Yeah, and lucky for them, the Immortal was just happened to be walking around at that particular point in time. Otherwise, these adepts could have gotten a lot more.
Yeah, Neeb got a bit fortunate there with the timing. There is a sentry available. That is a random force field.
It works.
Yeah.
All right, and I mean, the Immortal is now here. How difficult is it for Astrea? His battery is not done, but Neeb is not going to pounce on the opportunity.
Yeah, obviously his gateway got unpowered as well, right on the other side of the map. So it's tricky, but you've got a shield battery. You can always just use a single Stalker to activate the barrier on the Immortal. I think it's okay. Astrea going for a Stargate again, man. He just builds Stargates at the weirdest moments. I understand, like, not wanting to deal with Immortal War Prism harass, but it's kind of crazy to go Stargate here.
Yeah, maybe he's looking to try and catch Neeb off guard somewhat, surprise him. It's like you were mentioning, he's behind in tech. It's so difficult to go up against a player of the caliber of Neeb and kind of follow him, right? Like follow him into a tech. So I think
he got scouted and he canceled the Stargate, but now the War Prism was actually already heading his way. And then I think you do kind of wish in the end. I mean, you made the investment already. You may as well just kind of sail it out at that point. Adept showing up in the natural, getting 4 kills, but I'm more worried about the Immortals showing up in the main base. Astrea in all sorts of trouble here, cats.
Yeah, I like the decision to cancel the starport, not because it works, but rather because you know, it's the kind of thing that allows for him. Maybe Neeb doesn't cross with the War Prism, but Neeb thinks I have time before that Stargate does anything, so I'll harass with the War Prism in the meanwhile, and now there's no Stargate, so I guess this War Prism is gonna have the opportunity to just stick around.
Yep, and Neeb also flew over the point where that Stargate was before when he scouted it. The hallucinated Phoenix is trying to push the... sometimes you can push the War Prism out of position and your Stalkers can get the kill. And this is really bad for Astrea. Like, I'm looking at the numbers and it's like, you know, 42 workers. How bad is this really? I generally think it's very bad, especially considering the techs, right? Like, the tech is the biggest problem. Blink is only like 25% in. A Robo Bay gets swapped in now, but that's going to take a long time. I really feel that Neeb is in an amazing position.
Definitely. He's adding 3 gateways. Charge is finishing, plus 1 is finishing. Is it Neeb that's gearing for an attack this time around?
Yeah, I mean, with charge, Neeb doesn't really have to attack into a 2-base Astrea, but I definitely would love to see Neeb punish a 3-base Astrea.
Okay, it's Neeb once again with a better vision out on the map. A lot of units scattered. This could be huge!
What?
All right, well...
Yep, it's a game again.
We're back in it, boys.
Yeah.
The advantage of the 2 Immortals on the War Prism is certainly very gone now.
Wow, so, what was that? Oh my goodness. I really feel like Neeb kind of had this game in the back. I still, even despite that, I still like his position, but that makes everything a lot closer, that's for sure.
Yeah, now Astrea actually has a worker lead behind it too, so he's been a little bit better than Neeb at keeping up on that worker production and perhaps allocating some chrono boosts there. I'm not sure. But I mean, that's the kind of thing that gives you hope for that this will continue to turn into a game, right?
Yep, Blink Stalkers are going to try to buy some time. There is a Purification Nova. Tries to connect with the sentries. Only a single sentry goes down. You need to move that Prism, Astrea, and that's exactly what he does. If he snipes the Prism of Neeb, then he buys a lot of time for himself, but Neeb is not allowing that to happen. What is it with Neeb and War Prisms? Losing that Prism with the 2 Immortals, such a big deal. I don't know if you can really hold though here if you're Astrea. You're down an upgrade, almost 2 upgrades, gets the Prism! And now he fires the Purification Nova, does a lot of damage to these Archons. Oh my goodness, Astrea is actually holding this right now.
Yeah, there should be a battery overcharge, I imagine, available, and there it is. The battery will get focused down now as Astrea is forced to bring the probes off the line, but Neeb will have to recall back. What a hold.
I mean, what a hole, but Alex, Neeb, what are you doing in the last 90 seconds? You're so close to clinching the title. If he recalled that prism the first time with the 2 Immortals, he runs to the other side of the map and he wins. Now losing that prism again makes it impossible for him to continue the push. Yeah, we've got a game. Astrea is now actually up 9 workers, still down in upgrades, or at least almost down 1 upgrade. Oh my, I cannot believe this.
Yeah, and compositionally, they have kind of swapped from the last game where it's actually Astrea who is adding in disruptors and Neeb who's staying on the more, aggressive type go face and kind of attack move composition. I'm not sure if that's fair to say.
No, that's pretty fair to say, mate. All of us admit it, don't worry.
Okay, cool.
We have never pretended there's a lot of micro and Archon Zealot Immortal, bro. You can say whatever you want. Well, okay, I don't know what I'm watching, mate. I think both players are really feeling the heat, and I think that first game took a lot out of them, and that's why we're seeing a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes and a few sloppy movements. Like, Astrea is the one who's up 6 workers now. Why is he here? Like, yeah, landing a Great Warp Purification Nova is awesome. Wow, gets an Immortal, actually, gets a Stalker. But this is also risky, because Neeb is getting blink. Move the Prism, Astrea. Okay. Another disrupted runs into the army of Neeb. Oh my. Cats, help me!
Yeah, I mean, this is so risky, especially with the potential of Astrea that has to chase with those charge slots and whatnot. I mean, it's a difficult position for Astrea, but he's trying to make whatever magic happen. And oh, this is a big Purification Nova once again, but will get punished this time around as Neeb blinks forward as well.
Well, what is that blink? Okay, really wants to get the Immortal. Astrea does get the Immortal, but that costed him like 5 Stalkers. Now he will lose more Stalkers. We're going full NA here in Game 5 of the Grand Finals. I don't know what was happening. Astrea is the one who's economically ahead. He's losing everything in the center. Of course, he's down an upgrade, and maybe he felt like he needed to buy time for more Disruptors. But if you want to buy time for more Disruptors, cats, you shouldn't lose your Disruptors. Neeb is donating another prism. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, and that's the first thing that you shouldn't do is lose those Disruptors, especially because he also got Thermal Lance yet again, or is getting it. I don't know that he's planning to produce Colossi, but I mean, probably not before you have enough Disruptors. Now Neeb blinking in confidently, and I think he has enough. This is a lot more open of a situation where the Disruptor shots can't really land as easily, and there's not any really left over for Astrea as he gets pinned back in his 3rd base. Are we seeing the end here, Roddy?
Yeah, that was a cool force field zoning out the Disruptor, blinking on top of it as well. Astrea and Stalkers are trying to do whatever they can, but the shield batteries are on power. Neeb feeling confident, upgrade advantage in the back. Well, actually, they're even again, but Neeb still has a lot more units, even though his reinforcements, they take a little while. If you lose 3 prisms in 3 minutes, you're gonna have to warp in your units at home. But this was, of course, a fantastic attack, and we somehow had a stray Archon in the natural of Astrea as well. But Cats, I think he has done it. The old guard still reigns supreme in North America.
It looks like it's not. Oh, what happened there?
Another prism just
All right, well, that might solve for time. And no, Neeb has had enough of it. Blinks into Astrea and GG.